Hello, this is the formatting instructions for assignment 3 for BUSI 240 Introduction to Information Systems. Please disregard the term and the deadlines for this particular exercise or example that I'm using today and go to your syllabus to get the correct information. So I'm going to help you start off this paper and do the formatting that I require before you submit the paper. So to help you out, I've identified and provided you the title and the table of contents pages as I want them represented in your paper. So they are found in the instructions of the Microsoft Word instructions that I provide for you. And at the bottom of the document, as I scroll down, you'll see here that it has the title page. You'll also notice that there's something different about the look of my paper than what you normally see in Microsoft Word. And that is because I have the show hide fields and markers for printing and display that tells Microsoft Word how to put the information, the content within Microsoft Word on the display and how to put it out to the printer. So I'm going to toggle that off for you so you can see this is what it normally looks like. I'm going to turn that back on because I need to see that because there's some special things I want you to be aware of. So in order to start your paper out, what I recommend that you do is take your cursor right here at right below it says the Writing Center for Harvard. It gives the URL. Right below that, you'll notice that there's two paragraph markers, which are actually the Enter key, and then there's a white line that says Section Break Next Page. I want you to hold down the Shift key and use your arrow keys and press the down arrow key, and I want you to highlight and just keep on pressing all the way until you can't press anymore. Then want you to do within one of the highlighted areas, do a right click and do copy. Now I have an unformatted paper that I'm going to copy this into. This could be your paper that you have already written. So at the top of the paper you should have the executive summary. So I'm going to place my cursor right there before the E. I'm going to do a right click and then I'm going to select paste. As we scroll up in the document, you'll see that it pasted the title page and a page for the table of contents, but everything looks a little strange. Well, that's because it reformatted it when I brought it over, and the first thing I want to do is I want to get rid of this Section Break Next Page. If you were using a Macintosh computer, an Apple computer, you are going to press the I believe it is the Control backspace key. On a PC you can just hit the delete key twice and it'll remove that forward page. You'll notice that we have on the title page running head, and then the title you're going to replace where it says in curly brackets title of your paper, you're going to put the title of your paper, which is also in the curly brackets there on which I've just highlighted on the title page. Now you'll notice that the title page goes over 2 pages, and that's because it automatically double spaced this area here. So what we're going to do is we're going to highlight this. We're going to go up to the paragraph in the menu bar. We're going to select it, and instead of line spacing of being double, we're going to select single. And now you'll notice that everything fits on the title page the way I want it represented. So that helps you start your paper. Let's create the table of contents. So in your paper, in the well, let's remove this first. Let me get rid of that and press delete, highlight, delete. I want the executive summary to be the first section of your paper. In order to get that into the table of contents, I want you to highlight this, and then at the top of your menu bar up here you'll see styles, and I'm looking for heading 1. So I'm going to just click over here on the little twisty to drop down all of the different styles that are available, and I'm going to select heading 1. Notice as I did that, the font size changed of executive summary that I had already written, and it made it bold. When we put our cursor in there, we'll notice that it now says heading 1. That's correct. So I'm now going to go down to the next section of my paper, which should be the purpose statement. I'm going to highlight purpose statement, the words purpose statement, and I'm going to select heading number 1 again. I'm going to do this for every section of the paper that I want to be in the table of contents. There we go, body. Now the next section that I want is the conclusion. Heading 1. Now I should hit the appendix. You'll notice in this particular sample document I have quite a few figures within my appendix. So let me do something. You do not need to do this for your paper, but just to show you the power of Microsoft Word and what you're able to do with this automated table of contents generation. I'm going to highlight figure 1, and instead of calling it heading 1, I'm going to give it a designation of heading 2. And I'm going to show you what that means when we do that after we generate the table of contents. Notice as we do that, it puts each one of the figures on a separate page. And that's only because of the way that it was originally configured, and I removed the headings off of it when to unformat it so I could use this example. So now the last section of the paper is endnotes. So there we go. Now I'm going to go back up to the top of my paper into the table of contents page that's already been predefined here, and I'm going to go over to insert. Nope. Going to go over to references from the menu, and I'm then going to select over here table of contents, and you'll notice there's a variety of different types of table of contents. I don't care which one you use. I'm just going to use the first one because it's the most convenient. I'm going to click on it, and it automatically generated the table of contents for me. Now if you notice, we have the executive summary, the purpose statement, the body, the conclusion, and the appendix. And notice how it indented figure 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But looks like I accidentally selected heading number 2 for the endnote. Well, I really want endnote to be on the same level as the rest of major sections of the paper. So I'm going to go back down to the endnotes section. And yes, I did. As I click inside of it, you'll notice over here on the right, it identifies it as heading number 2. I'm going to change that, and I'm going to define it as heading number 1. I'm going to go back up to the table of contents. I'm going to do a right click within the body of the table of contents. I'm going to select update field, update the entire table, and look how it moved endnotes over, remove the indent so it's in the same alignment with the rest of the major sections of the paper. So that's how we format the paper. Now, in the instructions, I identify that I would like to have this the margins for this paper to be 1 inch all the way around. So from the executive summary page, I'm going to come over here to a layout. I'm going to select margins, and as you see right now, it has custom margins of 0.85 at the top and 1 inch all the way around. Well, let's do this the easy way, because Microsoft Word has a preset already of normal of 1 inch, and that's what I want you to do. Now what you didn't notice is that it actually just reformatted the entire paper, and in some cases it probably changed the pagination. So at some point we should come back up here into the table of contents and regenerate it so that everything's in the right page sequencing. I didn't change anything, so everything isn't too bad. Now you notice that I already have some footnotes here, and the instructions identify that I need to make these endnotes. Well, you're lucky. We would generally have to redo these and put them at the end of the paper into endnotes. But Microsoft has made this easier for you, and here within the footnotes section you can click on this twisty, excuse me, and over here I don't see it. Oh, here it is. What you can select endnotes, and right here you'll see that it says convert, and this will convert all of your footnotes into endnotes. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and show you what that does. Convert all footnotes to endnotes. Yes. Now you notice all the footnotes are gone. I'm going to go ahead and close this, and let's go down into the back page of the paper. Should have put them at the very end of the paper, and there are all my citations. Aha! Very easy. So let me show you how to insert a citation. So wherever you have quotations, that's typically where you have that's where I'm looking for a citation, a reference. You did not think of this yourself. You copied it from someplace else, so I need you to go ahead and cite this quotation correctly. So we're going to go up here into the reference menu section, insert an endnote. Notice how it drops us to the bottom of the paper into the endnote section. Let me scroll up here a little bit so you can see that. Okay, so now we have our endnote. Now you typically type in the last name of the author, first name, period, space, open quotes, title of the article or book, generically, end quote, period, the source. This could be a website, so why don't we say, since this is a peer-to-peer, that's the title of the paper. We put a period. We then identified this was retrieved on April 4, 2017 from, and then we give the website URL. So this is going to be http blah. Now, I don't want the HTTP here in quotations or parentheses. I just wanted to show you that this is where you would put this information. Okay? You don't need to put website. Just put from and then the actual URL where you obtain the information. So that's what I want to see, but check the APA style guide for how to properly format your citations, depending upon the source where they came from. Now I need to clean this up a little bit because these should all be single spaced, not double spaced. There we go. So that's what your endnotes should look like. Okay? So, as I identified before, I have 5 figures in my appendix. If you have multiple figures or any figures within your appendix, you have to have at least one. I want you to be able to clearly identify them and reference them within the paper. So let me show you what I mean by that. When I receive your paper, I'm going to do a Control F to do a search function. I'm going to type in the word appendix. And you'll notice that when I do the results, it shows me everywhere where the word appendix is used. And see on this, see how it says here, let's go there, see figure 1 in the appendix. This is how I want you to reference any images, tables, graphs, pictures that you put in the appendix, this is the proper way to reference them from within your paper. Okay? Let's see. Is there anything else that I need to show you at this point? I think we've got the major sections of the paper. Oh, except for the running head. On the title and table of contents page, you'll notice that it has a header here of running head and then the title of your paper. That should appear in both the title and the table of contents page. The words running head, colon, and the title of your paper. 2 pages only. Title page, table of contents page. However, you'll notice on the executive summary page, it does not have that. Instead, I'd like you to create a header that just has the title of your paper. So, from the menu bar, we go to the Insert menu option, come over here to the middle of the page where it says Add a Header. We're just going to enter a blank header. That will work. But several critical features that you want to make sure that you check. So I'm going to type in the title of my paper. One of the things you also notice here is that it reverts back to a different font. And remember, we want our paper to be Times New Roman 12-point font. So I'm going to go change the font here. And I'm going to make sure that it's Times New Roman 12-point font. Now I need to come back over here to the Design tab, because this tab right here, linked to previous, I want to make sure that it's not highlighted. I need this turned off. Because if you link it, it's going to delete the header before it and replace it with this. I don't want to do that. Conversely, I don't want running head in the header of my paper from the executive summary forward. So let's see if that worked. I put title of my paper there. Let's go down to the next page, and sure enough, it's there. One of the things I like to do within my headers too, I like to have a line underneath it. So in order to do that, I'm going to go here to borders. I'm going to put a bottom line, and now it makes it look a little bit nicer. Now it looks like a real header. So now you see I have running head, the title of my paper, in the title, table of contents page, and then the header changes at the executive summary page, and it stays that way throughout the paper. That's exactly what I want. Okay? That covers it for this section of the paper, or this formatting of the paper. Please take a look at the other YouTube video for how you go about providing the content for the paper. Thank you.